Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. My name is Vans. Long time no posting. I've been very busy. So I'm back right now. So if you're a returning subscriber, thank you for coming back. If this is your very first time coming across my channel, thank you for stopping by. So in today's tutorial, I'm going to be teaching you how to sew a blazer sleeve. So this sleeve, I'm not just going to teach you how to sew it, I'm also going to teach you how to attach it to your blazer, like the easiest way to attach your blazer sleeve to your blazer jacket. That's what you're going to be learning today. So if you want me to teach you how to draft a blazer sleeve, I want you to type yes in the comment section. So guys, we have different types of blazer sleeve. We have the one that has buttons. There are the ones that do not also have buttons. So in this tutorial, I'll be teaching you the one that do not have button. So this is the blazer sleeve when I was done drafting it, and this one I'm holding right now is the inner sleeve. So I traced it out from this pattern. Are you seeing? So this is the pattern that I used to trace out the inner sleeve. So when I was done tracing it out, this is now the pattern. So I'm going to go ahead right now and set it aside and cut the main sleeve. So I want you to watch the way I'm cutting the sleeve. So you watch closely the part that I'm cutting. This sleeve is actually very tricky. This blazer sleeve is actually very tricky. I want you to watch how I was able to cut it out. So this was it when I was done cutting. Are you seeing the sleeve? And then this is the inner sleeve. So I joined them together. Next thing I'm going to do is to bring my fabric. So this is the remaining part of the fabric. I infused it with a hairstay. So I'll go ahead right now and place my sleeve on it. That's my sleeve pattern on the fabric, and then I'll go ahead and pin it down with my pins. So you should do the same thing, pin it down so it will be easy for you to cut out. So after I was done pinning, guys, the next thing I'm going to do is to add my sewing allowance. For this sleeve, I'm going to add the sewing allowance only at the tip of the sleeve. The body of the sleeve does not need sewing allowance because while I was drafting, I already added all of the allowances that I needed. But when you're cutting the sleeve, make sure you add allowance at the start head, or the sleeve head rather, at the sleeve head of your sleeve pattern. So this was me marking out all of the allowances that I need, and the amount of allowance that I need for this sleeve head, around the sleeve head rather, is half of an inch. So I went ahead to mark half of an inch round the sleeve head. So watch what I'm doing. So when I'm done marking out the allowances, next thing I'm going to do is to cut out. So this was me cutting out the allowance. Then I went ahead to cut out the main bodies, just the way you see me doing. So this is the main sleeve, and then I'll go ahead to cut the inner sleeve. I went ahead to cut the inner sleeve, and then after cutting the inner sleeve, I went ahead to notch the important parts that I need. So guys, after cutting on the main fabric, I'll go ahead and fold my lining so I could cut on the lining. So this is the lining. I also interfaced my lining with a hairstay, and I placed my sleeve on the lining part, and then I went ahead to cut just the way you see me doing, like this. So this was me cutting the inner sleeve. exactly the way I cut the main fabric, that's the same way you're going to also cut the lining. The only difference is at the hem of the lining you're going to mark out 1.5 inches, because the allowance I use for the main sleeve was 2 inches, so I don't want the lining piece to also have 2 inches allowance, so I reduced the 2 inches allowance from the lining by 1.5, so it was remaining half of an inch. I hope you understand. So that when I'm turning the lining and the fabric together, you will notice that the fabric will not go inside the lining, so my lining is not going to show out of the sleeve. I hope you understand what I'm saying. So when I'm done now, I'm going to remove all of my pins, and then I'll place my fabric right side facing right. So I want you to watch this side carefully. This is like the tricky part of it. So I picked one of the fabric, that's one of my inner, and then I placed it on the main fabric like this. Are you seeing how I placed it? And then I went ahead to pin it. I also went ahead to pin down all of these sides to see if they match, and yes, they do match. I picked the other part again and I placed it like this. If you notice the one that I pinned, are you seeing how it is on the sleeve? So I picked the inner of the lining and I placed it on the main side of the sleeve, and then I set it aside. I did the same thing for this one too. I picked the inner and placed it on the main sleeve, just the way you see me doing. Are you seeing how curved it is? Then I carried this sleeve part, and then I also went ahead to pin. So the next thing I'm going to do right now is to sew. So this was when I was done sewing, and I went ahead to cut out all of the threads holding them together. Are you seeing how our sleeve looks? So this is the blazer sleeve. It's quite tricky, but it's actually good. The outcome is the best. Like, the outcome is beautiful. So I went ahead to iron. So when I'm done ironing, I'm going to show you how it looks. So go ahead and open your seam line and iron it. So this was when I was done ironing. Guys, are you seeing how clean this sleeve is already? It looks so perfect. So the next thing I'm going to do is to notch the midpoint. Notch where your armhole, where your sleeve is going to sit at the armhole, and then you notch the tip of the sleeve. So I folded it like this. Watch what I'm doing. I went ahead to fold my sleeve. I first of all put my hand inside the sleeve and I folded it into two like this, and I went ahead to notch. Do the same thing for yours. Sorry, that part it wasn't showing. Yeah, so I also did the same thing for the sleeve. That's the lining. I opened it and then I folded it into two like this, and then I notched the armhole, and then I notched the tip of the sleeve. I did the same thing for this other part. I opened it with my hand, and then I'll go ahead and notch. So I notched the tip and I notched the armhole part of the sleeve. After I'm done with this, guys, I'll go ahead and bring in my blazer. That's the one I've already made. I'll bring it in and then I'll attach the sleeve. I haven't fixed the notch part of the blazer yet, so my emphasis is on the sleeve part. So watch carefully how I'm doing it. So I'll go ahead now and measure the round armhole of my blazer. So whatever I have 19 and a half. I'll do the same thing. I'll check if this part is also 19 and a half. So I went ahead to measure it round, just the way you see me do. And then it's also 19 and a half. So what I'm going to do right now is to check my sleeve, my round sleeve, if it's 19 and a half. I'm supposed to have extra allowance for my gather. So this was me checking. So I have more than 19 and a half. I have 20.2. I will check all of the round sleeves. So I'm doing this also for the main sleeve. That's the main fabric, to check if the round sleeve is wider than the blazer's armhole. I hope you get what I'm saying. So this is actually wider. This is also 20.2. So what I'm going to do now, from the tip where I notched, I'm going to mark 4 inches on both sides. This 4 inches is the part that I'm going to draw my gather. So this was when I was done drawing my gather. I'm sorry I didn't show you this part where I had to infuse my wording. So I added wording around the tip of my sleeve. The total length of this wording is 8 inches. This is just to add a bit of structure around the sleeve. So when I was done with the gather, that was when I now attached the wording. Are you seeing? So the next thing I did was to match my armhole of the jacket, that's the blazer jacket, to the armhole of the sleeve. So I went ahead right now to get the armhole, that place I notched for the armhole. I'm going to match it with the blazer armhole line. So I'm going to go ahead right now and pin this sleeve round the armhole. Now when you're doing your own, you realize that that gather that you did, remember that I marked 4 inches on both sides from the tip of my sleeve, and I drew gather around it. This is because I want the sleeve to fit into my blazer armhole. Why? Because when I measured my round armhole for my blazer, you could realize that my sleeve armhole is wider than my blazer armhole. That was why I was able to do gather around it. So now the gather will enable it to fit into my sleeve jacket. So this was when I was done with the main sleeve. So what I'm going to do right now is to attach the lining to lining. So now my sleeve, I'm going to attach it to the lining. I'm sorry, this part is really confusing. You have to be very careful. Blazer sleeve is like the most problematic part in making a blazer, so you have to be careful while doing this. So I went ahead to match my sleeve armhole to my blazer armhole. I did the same thing for both sides, and then I'm going to show you how I did this other part. So match your sleeve armhole to your blazer armhole, pin it down, and then you can continue with your sewing. When I was done with the pinning, the next thing I went ahead to do was to take it to my sewing machine and I sew it down. So this was when I was done sewing it. Are you seeing, guys? Are you seeing the sleeve, the main fabric, and the sleeve? I've gone ahead to sew them down. I've also gone ahead to do a little bit of ironing. So it's remaining to attach my notch. But before I attach my notch, I'm going to go ahead now and put my hand into the blazer, the lining part, and then I'll fix it into the main fabric, just the way you're seeing me doing. So I'm fixing my lining into the main fabric. So this was it when I was doing. So please, guys, you need to pay attention to this part. This part is very important. So when I was done with this, I did the same thing for this other end. I brought out the lining like this, pulled it out like this, and then I fixed it inside the main sleeve, like inside the main fabric. So you should do yours like this too. So when I was done with this, please just watch and learn. So I was still trying to bring it out, like I was still trying to stock the lining inside the main sleeve. So this was it, guys. Are you seeing? So this was it. So when I was done with this, what I did next was to sew the tip of the sleeve, the main sleeve, and the lining. What you're going to do is, sorry, I'm just really trying to arrange so everything is going to look perfect before I move to the next stage. So this was me just arranging and making sure that the lining and everything is sitting well. So what I'm going to do right now is to make sure that the two sleeve seam are matching together. That's the main fabric sleeve seam and the lining seam are matching together. So when I achieved that, what I did was I went ahead right now to actually bring it out like this. Are you watching? So now this sleeve, now they are matching together. What I'm going to do, I'm going to fold it like this. Are you seeing? The seam lines are now matching. Are you seeing, guys? So I folded it like this and I went ahead to pin. This is this part is tricky, believe me, it's tricky. So when I was done with this, guys, I'll go ahead now. After I was done pinning, I'll go ahead now and bring it out. Are you seeing? So I'll bring it out right now. So you could notice now that the both lines are matching. So I'll go ahead and sew it by 1/2 inch and I'll show you the final look of the sleeve. So this was when I was done, guys. This is our blazer jacket. It's looking so fine. So thank you guys for watching my video to the end. Bye.